What's up, everybody? It's Bodyhead Productions here, and we're back with a couple big news stories. And to start them off, let's get into George R. R. Martin developing a new video game with prime-time developer superstars From Software. Now, a lot of you guys might know From Software, the same guys that develop Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and they're actively working on a game with George R. R. Martin that is being produced in Japan for 3 years now. So this game is pretty well on its way. Now, we don't know much about it other than it's an open world that you're going to travel via horse, and that it's going to be different kingdoms ruled by different leaders, and you gain abilities by killing these different leaders of the numerous kingdoms. So that sounds like a pretty good change of pace for a game. I mean, I'm personally going to be interested in it just because they have, in my opinion, the best author of all time helping develop the story. You already know these characters are going to be extremely developed. They're going to have human-like qualities. You're going to be able to relate to them. And hopefully it's going to be a game we're able to invest in. Now, that being said, I was never a big Dark Souls guy. I wanted to love Bloodborne so bad. I thought the atmosphere was cool, the world was cool, the city was cool, and the enemy types. That's all right up my alley. I love games like Condemned: The Darkness. And that's literally right up there too. You know, that looks like an awesome game, but unfortunately the gameplay is not for me, man. I feel like it doesn't respect my time. I'm not too into learning how to roll 3 different ways to strike a leg so the boss will fall down so I can stab it behind the ear and just repeatedly keep doing that. But if I get hit 3 times, the game's over. So I don't like doing that. Hopefully this game will be something more than that. I mean, but being a From Software game, I can assume it's going to be more the same with that, but who knows, man? I imagine like The Witcher meets Dark Souls. So that's what I like to imagine in my head. Let me know what you guys think about that game down in the comments, because that's the first story we got right here, guys. Now let's get into the second one. Now, Microsoft's Phil Spencer was talking about creating a less toxic gaming atmosphere. When I first saw this, I was like, what even is that? You know, I grew up in like the 2004 to like 2011 Xbox Live lobbies of Gears of War, Halo, and Call of Duty, where people would just say the most inappropriate shit to each other, and they just, you know, you could just go off on people. The only thing we had back in the day was it'd be like a reputation system. So you'd report them, and it'll give you like 5 options. It'd be like quit early, abusive language, taunting. I think another one was hacking. But it all added up to like a 100% bar. So you could have like 23 quit early, 50 taunting, 25 abusive language. I don't even know if I just did that math correctly, but you get what I'm getting at here. So to see this come, it's kind of like it comes full circle. But let's get into the story a little bit here and see what Phil Spencer had to say about it. So Phil Spencer says Microsoft will now commit itself to a series of new initiatives aimed at making gaming more accessible, less toxic, and safer. Pretty understandable. The first of those it announced earlier this month when Microsoft publicly updated its community standards, guiding what's acceptable behavior on Xbox Live and how it enforces suspension and bans. Alright guys, so I didn't check out what the updated community standard is, but if you want to check it out, you can go on to the Xbox Microsoft website, I guess. Going further, Microsoft says it will be expanding its safety team in the coming months to include more diverse voices and a wider range set of solutions to common issues. So, racist keyboard warriors sending me shit through Gears of War, whatever the case may be. Your time is numbered, bitch! They're coming for you. And an exact quote we have, we will identify potentials for abuse and misuse on our platform and will fix problems quickly. We are also intent on expanding the composition of our safety team so wide-ranging perspectives can help us identify future safety problems and solutions. Now, like I said when I started off, I find this extremely interesting because I always thought the toxic part of gaming, it was always going to be there. I thought that's always going to be an aspect because pretty much every hobby has a toxic group attached to it. You know, it's very hard to get away from assholes. Normally, it's best to learn how to deal with them. You can always mute the microphone. I think as long as someone's not griefing your game, like team killing or purposely throwing the game, and they're not, consistently sending you messages, then I think that is enough right there to get someone banned. But if I saw a story on Twitter about guy that was calling this dude an effing idiot in game because the guy was throwing the match, and the guy. So guy one was throwing the match. Guy two is calling him out for throwing the match, calling him names. Guy two was suspended for calling him names, and guy one wasn't, even though he was throwing the match. Now I think that's backwards. I think the ability to tone out strangers online and not listen to whatever bullshit they may be saying is a good skill to have for like your entire life. But still, it's a good reasoning behind this. I just think that it might go in the wrong direction, like the example I just stated with the guy calling names getting suspended, and the guy that was actually throwing the game with no suspension whatsoever. So, that's just my thoughts on that. But I think this is going to be pretty interesting to see how it plays out because, there's definitely some people that talk way more reckless online than they ever will in person. And my God, half these people, if you got to meet them in person, you don't know what you do sometimes. Guys, those are the two major stories. Now to get into some kind of like quick news. We got God of War sales reach over 10 million. My God, man, these games just don't slow down. I know God of War built up a huge fan base from, its original trilogy across PS2 and PS3. Then they added a lot of like PlayStation Portable games as well. I'm not too familiar with those, but I love the original three. But I didn't expect this, no online multiplayer in a world of online gaming taking over. It's pretty crazy to see. It's super impressive. I didn't expect it, but, I also don't have a PlayStation, so I'm missing out every single day of this generation. And next, one that hits me directly in the heart, Resident Evil 4 is available on Switch as of this week. My God, man, this is just taunting at its finest. Come on, man, just throw it Xbox's way. I understand there might be difficulty porting it. I don't think it ever went to the original Xbox, but come on, man. If we can get Resident Evil 2 on Xbox, why can't we get 4? 4 is the best one. Say what you will, disagree with me, bring it to the comments section, but I stand by it. Speaking of which, I just finished a couple Jack Krauser videos. Part 2 just came out last night, so be sure to check that out. But more importantly, I just think this goes to show we love seeing old games remastered, and it speaks to the level of how much we're willing to pay and ask for the things we grew up with. We will pay to relive those memories pretty much is what's going on. I mean, look at classic World of Warcraft that's coming out after them telling us we didn't want it for however long. And now we're getting it, so I just think this is kind of funny. I think it's a really good trend. I want to play the games that I can't find anymore on consoles that I had when I was in my teens and or like before 10. So it all works out, guys. But let me know what you think of the George R. R. Martin video game with From Software, what you think of Bloodborne or Dark Souls, how you think that game's going to mesh. And then let me know what you think about Phil Spencer's counter to toxic gaming atmospheres. And of course, the quick news, if you got any other quick news, put it in the comments section, man. There's probably a lot of things I missed. I know there's a lot of things I missed. But guys, thank you for always being there. You're the best, and I'll catch you in the next one.